Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Ryan Touhey, live from Campus Field on the campus of Sacred Heart University. It is Women's Lacrosse Northeast Conference action. Today, it is the Mount St. Mary's Mountaineers against your Sacred Heart University Pioneers. Mount St. Mary's comes into today's game at 6-6 overall and 1-2 in Northeast Conference play. They are 5th in the NEC in conference play. They are right behind Sacred Heart, who are tied with Robert Morris. Sacred Heart right now are 2-10 overall, but 2-1 in conference play as they look to clinch one of the top 4 spots in NEC conference tournament. Mount St. Mary's looks to get another win in NEC play as they are currently on a 4-game road trip. They are coming off 2 losses to Robert Morris and Wagner. Meanwhile, Sacred Heart coming off a big win against CCSU. Live from Campus Field on the campus of Sacred Heart University, it is Northeast Conference Women's Lacrosse. We have a very good matchup this afternoon. Today, it is the Seahawks of Wagner College against your Sacred Heart University Pioneers. Happy Senior Day, everybody. I'm Ryan Touhey. Sacred Heart is sending off their 5 graduating seniors who will be graduating, of course, at the end of this semester. And this is a very big game for the Pioneers this afternoon as they are still fighting for one of the 4 spots in the Northeast Conference tournament. Sacred Heart right now is currently tied for 3rd in the NEC Conference. They are tied with Robert Morris and Mount St. Mary's as all 3 teams are 2-2 in NEC play. Meanwhile, Wagner, on the other hand, is undefeated in NEC play at 4-0, and they're tied with Bryant. Wagner is on a 5-game winning streak right now, and they're coming off a win at LIU Brooklyn. Sacred Heart, meanwhile, is coming off a tough defeat against Mount St. Mary's on Friday, in which they lost 14-9. But before we get started with this afternoon's game, the Pioneers, as mentioned, will be graduating 5 seniors, and they are Erin Coots, Dominique Anselman, Shannon Mooney, Paige Hammock, and Avery Farhat. Right now, there are 2 big games going on for the Pioneers that they are looking at. Right now, Robert Morris University and CCSU are going on, and Mount St. Mary's is at LIU. Both games are going on, and those are big games to keep an eye on if you're a Pioneer fan. Right now, Mount St. Mary's is leading LIU Brooklyn 9-2, and there's 6 minutes to go in the first half. Meanwhile, Robert Morris and Central Connecticut are about to begin the second half of their game, and they're knotted at 4. But the Senior Day ceremony is about to begin. Sacred Heart, this is their final regular season home game of the year, and they will conclude their season on the road. They have 2 more games left. They will go to Robert Morris, and then will end their season at St. Francis.
As all the seniors getting together to take the picture, and I'll bring in my partner now, Ryan Touhey. I gotta say, it's good to have a partner finally after doing a couple of these games, but you know, a great ceremony here. But moving back to the game, this is a very big series for the Pioneers.
Certainly is, Dan. Sacred Heart and St. Francis U are the top 2 teams in the NEC, and this is a big challenge for Sacred Heart. St. Francis U is on a 10-game winning streak right now, and they are coming off 2 doubleheader sweeps against CCSU and Bryant, and they outscored them by a combined score of 33-9. So Sacred Heart has their hands full today, this afternoon. So it should be an interesting contest. One of the players that they're going to have to watch out for specifically is their junior outfielder, Haley Norton, the 2016 NEC Rookie of the Year. She has been on fire, and she had 2 grand slams during those 2 doubleheaders with St. Francis U last weekend. So watch out for Norton today, and there's plenty of other power that St. Francis possesses, especially their leadoff hitter, McKee, who was hitting .321 on the season with 7 home runs.
And, I mean, you look at it, though, on the other side, it's going to be really power versus power, as the Pioneers will likely feature their top 2 pitchers today in Kristen McCann, who gets the start for Game 1, and likely Emily Orozco for Game 2. So good hitting, good pitching, something's definitely going to have to give today.
Definitely. St. Francis U has plenty of power. They have 60 home runs this season, 3rd most in all of Division I softball, and they're ranked 3rd just behind Coast Carolina and Eastern Kentucky. Coast Carolina has 62 and Eastern Kentucky has 61. So St. Francis has plenty of power. So one thing that Sacred Heart has got to do is try and keep them in the ballpark. Try and get some ground balls or try and get some pop-ups. Just don't always try and strike them out, because if you leave that in the strike zone, they'll almost always hit it out. A little miscommunication behind the net. Elizabeth Small. She'll pass it over to her right side. Number 6, Cassie Cesario with the ball now. And she's going to try and cut and try and shoot. And a nice pass to number 24, Avery Farhad, and she scores. Avery Farhad with the goal, and the Pioneers take a 1-0 lead at the 27:42 mark of the first half. A very well-executed goal right there by the Pioneers, and Avery Farhad dipped it over the head of Jillian Petitto. So the Pioneers lead 1-0 early in the first half. And now Mount St. Mary's with it now. Marley Heller, the redshirt junior for the Mount. She shoots, and she scores. Marley Heller with a goal for the Mount. And just like that, they quickly answer back, and it's all tied up at 1. Well, Marley Heller's coming off a very good game against Wagner, where she scored 2 goals against the Seahawks, and she puts the Mount on the board to tie the game up at 1 at the 26:14 mark. That is Heller's 16th goal of the season. Marley Heller looking for a second goal, and she shoots wide. So Marley Heller was quickly looking for her second goal of the game, but she shot over the net. And the Mount regained possession, and they spread out again, trying to create an open path. Heller passes behind the net. Back to Heller, shoots, scores! Marley Heller with a great play, passing it to Taylor Carhart, who was behind the net, and Heller ran past by the defenseman, and she was open, and Carhart passed it back to Heller, and Heller scored, and just like that, it is 2-1 in favor of the Mount. To her left, Cesario with it, and she'll give it over to Avery Farhad. Farhad with it now. Farhad passes it ahead in front of her to number 30, Sydney Erickson. Erickson looking for an opening. And she'll pass it to Cesario. Cesario back to Farhad. Farhad tries to cut, but is blocked. Farhad will pass it back to Cesario, and the Pioneers will try again. Cesario trying to find her way through, but can't find an opening. Farhad, she'll pass it in front of her. There's a shot and a goal! Sydney Erickson from Avery Farhad. The Pioneers take a quick 1-0 lead. Great passing sequence, and the Pioneers jump ahead 1-0 at the 28:16 mark of the first half. That's Sydney Erickson's 10th goal of the season, and she had scored 1 against Mount St. Mary's on Friday. So the Pioneers jump ahead 1-0. It's picked up by Hannah Wise. She gives it to Cesario. Cesario being guarded. Cesario passes it to Wise. And a shot on goal, and it's wide. That was Alyssa Pierce, and a shot and a goal! Alyssa Pierce at the 26:33 mark in the first half, and the Pioneers jump ahead 2-0. That is Pierce's 23rd goal of the season and her 99th career goal. The ball's on the near side of the field. Number 16, Maura Carey has it. Carey will pass it in front of her to Lauren Edney, and Edney passes it to her left. And there's a shot on goal and a score. And that is Megan Drum who scored that one. And the Seahawks trail the Pioneers 2-1. And the Pioneers got the ball. Kelsey Parada with it. And she'll give it to Hammock. Hammock gives it ahead to Nicole Holder. Holder having pressure on her. Holder Passes it to number 31, Taylor Sweeney. Sweeney will pass it over to Coots. Coots with it, and she's on the left side of the net. Coots trying to find an opening. She'll pass it to Hannah Wise. Wise over to Cesario. Cesario to Farhat. And now Farhat will pass it to Coots behind the goal. Coots to Farhat. That's to Cesario. Back to Farhat. Farhat trying to find an opening. She goes to Hannah Wise, who misses. Well, Hannah Wise cut in, but was not able to get a shot on goal. And now the Seahawks run down the field. And that's Lindsay Haas, and Haas loses control, but it's recovered by Stephanie Falcone. Falcone passes it ahead to Lauren Edney. Edney now with it. And there's a whistle. Okay, so for Sacred Heart, Haley DeRogers will lead it off. Stephanie Mangiamelli will bat second. Kellen Fillmore will bat third. So that'll be the do-up for the bottom of the first. And now we'll take a look at the defensive alignment for St. Francis. In the outfield, from left to right, you have McKee, Frank, and Seneca. Along the infield from third to first, Troxel, Bauer, McKee, and Cabell. Hoover's behind the plate. And still on the mound is Trahan. So no changes for St. Francis in the second game. Candace had a great year so far. She's 11-11. She's got an ERA just over 2 at 2.10.
As the 1-0 just outside 2-0.
And she has 157 strikeouts in 28 appearances. She is coming off of a loss, though, at Fairfield on April 24th, in which she lasted just 4 innings, gave up 5 runs, 4 of them earned, and walked 5. So a rare, rough outing for McCann. Yeah, an uncharacteristic-like inning right here for McCann. Not what you want with the bases loaded. Just 1 out. But McCann looks like, I think she's trying to do maybe a little too much. Maybe it looks like she's trying to strike out, trying to make a statement with her, with her gas and everything. But no, she's hit 2 batters, and she's also given up a single.
It also looks like they're not really moving out of the way. They're standing strong, and they're just taking it.
No, they crowd the plate very well. McCann looks like she's trying to jam him inside.
As Train throws a changeup, hits it right back to her. Wild throw goes into center field. As it's an error on Trahan.
Well, Trahan looked like she was waiting for either McKee or Bauer to get to second base. McKee, maybe it looks like McKee thought that Bauer was going to cover, and that may have confused Trahan. But Trahan kind of hesitated before she threw the ball. She didn't know exactly who was covering, and then I guess she thought that McKee was going to cover, but the throw was wide. So a little bit of hesitation right there by Trahan.
As rather than an inning-ending double play, it's a golden opportunity here for the Pioneers as they now have runners on first and second with still 1 away, as Jenny Beauvais will step into the box as a coaching visit with the infield. Typically you see that shortstop ranging over there as they have the momentum kind of going toward the right side of the infield, but it looked like a little bit of miscommunication there.
Yeah, miscommunication right there by the red flash. McKee and Bauer, I think McKee thought that Bauer was going to cover, and Bauer vice versa thinking McKee was going to cover, and it probably confused Trahan, and she just threw it to McKee, but the throw just went wide.
As the 1-0 infield in a little more, and it's through the left side. It's a base hit. It's the second RBI single for Cheyenne McKee. And the red flash jump out ahead once again. It's 2-1.
Well, really good hitting right there by Cheyenne McKee. Again, McCann tried to go inside, got a little too much of the plate, and McKee going to the left side of the infield, just out of the reach of DeRogers. And it gives the red flash back the lead. More towards center.
As the pitch is hammered deep left center field. A moonshot there for Jordan Seneca. And just like that, the Red Flash take a 1-0 lead.
A rare mistake right there from Orozco. She threw the ball right down the part of the plate, and Seneca was all over it. She just knocked it out of the ballpark, one of the deepest parts of this ballpark, into left center field. And now the Red Flash are up 1-0.